if you don't have confidence in yourself, no one will have confidence in you. So like, yes, you might not know everything you're talking about, but if you're kind of given that impression that you do, you'll have a lot more trust. Whereas if you ask me a question, I'm like, I'll get back to you, I'm not too sure, you're not going to trust me.
Sarah Clark, great to get you back on the Rebel Agent podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a year and I'm back in the hot seat.
You're back in the hot seat. I can't believe it. Time's just flown, hasn't it? It's actually been over a year.
No, it's crazy and a lot's changed.
What you've been up to, how's it gone?
Yeah, amazing. Professionally and as a company, we are growing, which is absolutely insane. So yeah.
I was looking at the website the other day and you're actually the second person on the site behind the owner, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah.
So you're obviously really well respected. But,
I'd like to think so.
I wanted to start off with, you mentioned last time that you were thinking about buying property yourself.
Yeah.
Have you done so?
Yeah, so I'm in the process. It's been a long process.
Because that was an ambition, wasn't it, 12 months ago?
100%, yeah. And I feel like it's the best place to do it right now, to be completely honest with you. So I'm in the process of looking for basically starting up my own business in terms of rentals. So yeah, trying to find the perfect match.
Yeah, when you say business, you mean sort of building up a business with a portfolio of properties?
100%, yeah. So following my dad's footsteps.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And what's his position? Is he thinking of investing here?
I think it's in the talks. Obviously, with the UK, it has changed a lot. So I believe that maybe in the future, he'll be looking to set a few things up here. So yeah,
because he sold a few when we last spoke, hadn't he?
Yes, he has, yep. So both his personal home and some of his investments, just because it's a lot to manage. It's expensive in the UK, so yeah.
And I remember when we spoke about it 12 months ago, I think we said that the UK will probably stagnate and Dubai's got at least 10%. And that's exactly what's happened.
Exactly. And it's only yet to grow. Like if we think about how undeveloped Dubai is still, there's still a lot of free land, a lot of stuff upcoming. So the sooner you jump on the ladder, the better. So
yeah. No, that's brilliant. Let's talk about your professional career.
Okay.
It's gone well for you.
Yep.
Just tell me about how it's evolved over the last 12 months.
Sure. So in terms of my career, we've reached a point now where we're at full capacity. I've got someone else working on my team now, which is brilliant, and he's a massive help. But we're going for a complete full rebrand. We're moving to a new office, and there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes yet to come. Some exciting things that I can't yet speak on.
Watch this space.
Exciting. Yeah, literally watch this space. But yeah, there's a lot to come up. So.
And this is with Luxury Properties Hub, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So still at Luxury Properties Hub. So yeah, it's going amazing.
And a lot of the recruitment staff I've interviewed, they're ambitious and they've moved on companies, which is great. And I commend that up to a point. But you've stuck with the same company since you've been here in terms of recruitment, haven't you?
For me, it's when I first sat in that interview, Sharif said to me what he wants, what our 2, 3, 4 year goal is. And so far, everything he said, it's coming to life. And here's my full loyalty because everything you're saying is happening. So he's got my full trust. And I do believe we can be one of the top agencies in Dubai.
Yeah, great. How many agents have you got at the moment, or how many staff?
We've got around 30 to 40.
Yeah, so a mid-sized company, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. But when we look back over last year, we've grown massively. And for us, it's more quality over quantity rather than just filling seats and hoping it works, essentially. So.
And you're currently in Business Bay. Can you say whether the new offices are in Business Bay or not?
Yeah, still selling Business Bay. Right. The office would be 4 times the size of our current one.
Really?
We're equipping it with podcasting rooms, media rooms, coffee bars, you name it. But for us, it works. We started in Business Bay. It's where our home is, so we'll be staying.
Yeah, there's a lot of agencies here, so obviously works. It's
exactly.
Yeah. Let's get into LinkedIn.
Okay.
And the amazing success. You tell the audience how many followers you've got now.
Probably touching 192,000
followers,
which is.
And we said, wow, 12 months ago, and it was 77,000.
Yeah, it's doubled, if not nearly triple since then.
Yeah.
Obviously, it is hard work. It's pretty much a full-time job managing LinkedIn.
And that's just your own.
Exactly. And we're nearly at 5 million impressions.
Wow. So. Total impression. How do you, I didn't realize you could get that metric. I knew you could on each post.
Yes.
But you can get a total.
Exactly. Yes. You can do it over the last year. And in the last year, we're touching that. So.
Yeah.
Crazy.
So let's remind people, what are your sort of secrets, if you like? What are you doing? I know you like consistency, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. Posting pretty much every day, adding value, showing off Dubai, the company, what it has to offer. But it does get to a point where it is tough, because it's like, how much more can you write about? So you've got to think out of the box, essentially. So there's times I'm sat in bed at like 10:30 at night, I'm like,
Really?
that's my LinkedIn post for tomorrow, straight in the notes. But it is tough.
It's artistic, isn't it? You're sort of a creator.
Yeah.
And those ideas, just like a song would come to you, or a book idea, or whatever.
Exactly that. Yeah. So yeah, full-time job pretty much, maintaining my LinkedIn, but we're growing at a good speed. So just trying to wait and hit that 200K now. So.
And then 200K, that would be amazing. And then is it Favikon that measure the success of influencers throughout the world on LinkedIn?
Yeah, so you can run it on different profiles, and it'll tell you where you're placed, your percentage, and it also assesses across other platforms as well, such as like Instagram, Twitter, etc. But it is good. It's good to kind of see your insights and where you're placing.
Yeah.
So for me, my goal is trying to move up that ladder to get to that top one.
And where are you ranked now?
I believe it's in the top 20
Wow.
across the UAE, which in the space of a year and a half is.
But I saw one metric where it was UAE recruiters, and I think you were ranked 11.
Yes.
Yeah. How did that make you feel when you got, what do you get, an email or something?
Yes, you get a notification. For me, I was kind of like, hold on, is this a spam? Like, it didn't make sense to me. But it's huge. Like, I'm 25. I've been in Dubai just under 2 years, and I've done that already. And
yeah, exactly. A lot of the people that are going to be up there, well, nobody's as high as you within recruitment or HR, are they? But people that are close, many of them have been doing it for years.
Exactly, yeah. So for me, it's more about networking. Whether or not I can help that person on LinkedIn is a different story. But sometimes all it takes is a gentle reply, or just, thanks for your interest, we can't help. But for me, it's like, I'll always try and help people where possible, which I think helps a lot, because then they'll mention it to their friend and another friend, and so on and so forth. So
yeah. Because the other thing is that you did do some social media work before, didn't you? Helping others. That must have been a factor, I guess.
I think so, because it makes you understand the algorithms, what people look for, wordings of things. But like, LinkedIn's a complete different game, because you get the people who comment, it's not Facebook or whatever it may be. So it's trying to find a balance between quality, informative, and helpful. So
yeah, so they're critical maybe of some personal posts that you do.
Exactly. But for me, it's like, if you're moving to Dubai, like, yes, it might not be about we're hiring, but you want to know what it has to offer, what's upcoming, or what there is more beyond that sort of thing. So I try and post as much as possible on all different
But you don't have to read that post. I mean, I know, well, I'm not in your league, of course, but the posts that I do, some virtually get ignored, or some people like some posts but not others.
I find that a lot.
If you don't like the post, just ignore it.
No, exactly.
So don't moan about it.
Exactly. But yeah, I find the algorithm of LinkedIn's changed quite a lot. I'm not sure if you noticed, but sometimes you get posts come up from like 3 weeks ago now.
Yeah.
So I find
it can reignite, can't it?
Yeah.
So if certain people of influence start liking it, start engaging with that post, then it relaunches it.
100%. But like, some posts I'll get over like 100K views, and then others it's like 40, and it gets to a point where it does get frustrating, but it's all a part of the game. So
yeah. And then what about the other, what about Instagram and the other ones?
Yeah, so I've been trying with Instagram. It's a lot more difficult, because with Instagram you have to add a photo, and some days I might be messy hair up or just in the office.
You look the part, whatever, I'm sure.
It is tough. And as well, you're reaching a different type of clientele, essentially. So it could be all different people, walks of life, whereas LinkedIn, it is more business focused, and you know, people are most likely looking to expand their network, get a new job, be informed of other industries. So it's a lot more relevant, but yeah.
Yeah, and then you're actually, alongside your work, you're thinking about a personal brand business as well.
Yeah, so people in work, I get messages, how have you done this? For me, like, it was never intended. I never wanted to have this massive big platform. It was just for candidates. But it got to a point where I saw it growing and growing, and it gets to a point it's quite addictive, because it's I want this, I want this, I want this. So for me, it's like, I want other people to achieve what that goal may be. So I'm putting together a little guide on how to help people grow their LinkedIn, personal brand, whatever it may be, because it looks straightforward, but I feel there's a lot more like nitty gritty to it. So
can I ask when you're likely to launch that business?
It's a work in progress. I've been working on it for around 6 months now. It's been a while. I'm trying to make sure everything's perfected, everything's clear and precise. So I'm hoping by summer. That's my aim.
So what are you doing, starting with a website, is it?
It would just be a guide where you can sell it online. It'd be like a little ebook sort of thing. I'm trying not to add too much information to overwhelm people, but just with the basics on how to succeed. On the side, I have been helping someone at the moment where we've been going to a coffee shop a couple of times to kind of go through things. But it's trying to do it in a way where other people can understand and make sense of it. So hopefully by summer.
Yeah, I think you'll do really well with that. And obviously you'll promote it through LinkedIn and Instagram. And
100%, yeah.
yeah, one of the things that I wanted to ask you, obviously you're working with a lot of real estate agents coming from all over the world. Maybe they're just starting in Dubai. What advice would you give?
Sure. So I would say make sure you're definitely interviewing with several different companies. Not one shoe doesn't fit all, for example. So people learn in different ways. So for example, some people might work well in massive groups. As a company, we feel that tailoring our groups are smaller to 5 to 8 a month, for example, is a lot more easier for people to learn because we can cater the learning style to them. Some people learn better with visuals or spoken. So we try and cater it to people to learn in different ways. You want support. And the thing that I find with Dubai is a lot of people might do sales for 1-2 years and then think, you know what, I'm in a point where I can open my own company, which is great. It's amazing. It's great you've got that far. But at the same time, what experience do you have? Do you know how to deal with all these different scenarios? Do you have a network where it can assist you if things do come up, for example? Which again is why I do trust Sharif. He's been in the industry for 15 years. I know anything that comes his way, he can manage. So he's got my full trust in that. And I feel comfortable bringing people in, knowing that he knows how to deal with them different scenarios. Again, marketing. This is a main big thing when joining the company because yes, you have a great listing, but what advertisement are you getting for that to help it sell? And of course, for your personal brand, you want help building your personal brand as well. But I could go on all day, but I would say they're my main things that I would say
to look for in a company. And we were discussing earlier, weren't we? And let's face it, a few of the companies, some of the larger ones, are just using those agents that they get in to support the CRM to, you know, refresh it really and top it up, knowing, well, I wouldn't say they're knowing full well that those agents won't work for those agents, but that is the case in quite a few cases, isn't it? So I mean, and one of the things I say is to actually reach out using LinkedIn or whatever, linked out to agents that are working for the company that you're thinking of joining.
100%, because it's all well and good me saying stuff. I am a recruiter at the end of the day. And I can be brutally honest. I can tell you it is going to be hard. You might struggle, all these different things. But until you speak to someone actually doing that job, it's more difficult to understand. But again, people learn at different speeds as well. So I would say speak to several agents because everyone has different experiences too. But yeah, they're the main people I would say get behind. But even like with the interview process, we always give the option, do you want to sit down with an agent and discuss things as well? So
do you?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good. It's a really good sign. And then let's say they've started. I know your training's very extensive, isn't it?
Yes.
12 weeks? Or?
We have, so essentially it's like 1 week of like classroom training, followed on a second week of learning about the area. But even with that, you're not limited to a certain area. But then for the next 3 months, well, it's pretty much continuous. We're always checking in with people. Even our agents who have been with us for over 2 years, we have Monday morning training sessions for everyone because you can always learn more. And we don't want to limit people as well. So yeah, it's continuous.
Yeah. And then what about recruiters? You've been doing the role for some time now.
Yeah.
Where do you see other recruiters going wrong and what advice would you give there?
Sure. So it's quite a tough one, but I feel like a CV doesn't define someone. You might get a CV through and think, I'm not too sure, maybe I don't have the experience, but it boils down to the person and how hungry they are. Because yes, they might not have worked in real estate, they might have done something completely irrelevant, but if they have that drive, that motivation, then they can do it. So I'd say look beyond the CV. There's no harm in a chat, and until you speak to someone, you don't know what they have to offer. It could be a hidden gem.
Yeah, and obviously you're keeping in touch with people that you've taken on, agents you've taken on.
Yeah.
And that gives you the experience really, doesn't it?
100%, yeah. So, and as well, another thing that I would say to recruiters is honesty is the best policy. You often hear like, yeah, you'll have this, you'll do that, you'll be amazing. But deep down, it's a lot of hard work. There'll be months where you're thinking, what am I doing? Have I made the right choice? But it's part of the process and it is a learning curve. It's not something where I can train you and you go off to know what you're doing. Whereas a lot of recruiters tend to kind of sell that dream, which I don't totally agree with. So
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. What happens, let's say an agent started with you
Yes.
and they feel they're struggling, they come along. At what point do you say, I don't think this is right for you? Maybe you should look for another career, or you should go back to the country you come from, UK or wherever.
Yeah.
And at what point, or would you say, well, I think, you should give it a few more months? It's it's a tough decision, isn't it? That
100%.
obviously they've got to make it, but you can guide them.
Of course, but like when I'm hiring, it's more quality over quantity. So regardless, I'd never bring someone into the job if I don't think they have what it takes. But we sit down on a regular basis, do one-to-ones. And the way we hire our groups, there's one manager per person once the training's complete to make sure you have support all round sort of thing. But we're always checking in with people, whether it's you need further training on phone calls, not a problem, let's sit down. But I would say you kind of know within the first 3 months how successful they will be. And it might not be the case where you have loads of listings, but if we can see you're doing the legwork, which is the phone calls, the networking, and actually pushing yourself, you just need that bit more of guidance to kind of help yourself close and get past that line. So
yeah, and then how does it work the other way if they're quite happy? Let's say that they are struggling, but they don't realise that.
Yeah,
you've obviously got to make a decision your side as well, and that sometimes you need to speak to them.
yes.
How do you go about that?
It's never an easy conversation to have, but like we'll always kind of address it. Like if we feel you are struggling or you are behind, it is a matter of sitting you down and kind of figuring out where it is going wrong and how we can help to improve it. But it would never be the case where it's kind of like you're sat down, you're gone. We kind of inform you if you feel like you are falling behind, and we'll help you try to correct it. But it's down to you what you're willing to make.
Just further training, really.
Exactly, yeah.
I'd like to talk to you about the fake it till you make it post, which you did recently.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I feel like a lot of it is if you don't have confidence in yourself, no one will have confidence in you. So like, yes, you might not know everything you're talking about, but if you're kind of given that impression that you do, you'll have a lot more trust. Whereas if you ask me a question, I'm like, I'll get back to you. I'm not too sure. You're not going to trust me. So even if you're not sure, just act like you do. And that's where you'll start to gain the confidence. And then you'll start to believe it yourself. And then that's when you start to flourish. So
no, I agree with that. And how many impressions did that one get? Can you remember?
That got around 70,000. It's
Really?
not one of my top ones, but it's up there with the top few.
So what's your top one?
It was mainly that I was just hiring. That got 250,000 views, which
really,
again, insane. So.
And there must be so many comments off the back of that.
Yeah, you get a mix of comments, but I suppose that's.
Do you have to delete some?
Sometimes I do. And it's not anything about the post, it's more aimed towards me, but it's expected. And if anything, it's just something you've got to laugh at and carry on because...
And it's a sign that you've kind of made it on social media, isn't it?
Yeah, no, exactly. That's what my mum said.
Because I don't have too many haters, but that's because, I'm in a very different position. Whereas, with you, there's going to be jealousy.
That's the thing. It's one of them things, you can't let it get you down because the second, again, it gets in your mind, you start to believe it and you know the truth, you know what you're doing. So you just got to go with it and just ignore the people that don't have such nice things to say. So
yeah. Any other big posts recently that you've done?
I got a lot on the construction one of the new office. Right. A lot of people engaging with that, congratulating me.
Yeah.
So thank you, Sharif.
Yeah, but you're such a big part of that, aren't you?
Of course, yeah. So of course I've helped with the journey. I've helped bring the people on to do it. And with that guidance from the management team, it's all falling into place. So that's very exciting.
Yeah, cool.
So another one which went quite viral was about working your butt off in Dubai. Now, a lot of people tend to think you're going to come to Dubai, it all fall into place, but there's so much competition in the market, in any industry you go into. So doing a bare minimum, it's not going to get you anywhere. So it is one of those things. Yes, it is draining. Yes, it is hard work, but it's all a part of the process. And then when you start to see that reward, that's where it becomes the achievement, essentially. So
yeah, I'd agree with that. But the other thing I would add to it, that real hard work, it might only be a year or two that you need to do it. Yes. In some cases, with some agents, it might only be 6 months. Doesn't mean to say that after 6 months, they can just take a break and travel, but you can ease off a bit. But I think that first 6 months in particular, it's got to be hard graft, doesn't it?
100%. Like we had an agent join us, his first 3 to 6 months, every single day, you can hear him on the phone. Everyone was looking around because you just knew he was there in the office. Fast forward a year, he'd he's our top agent in the company.
Really?
He's taken 6 months off work. He bought a villa, he bought his supercar, and it got to a point where he was just working from home in Thailand, wherever it was. And he has people just approaching him now. He doesn't have to do that legwork because he's made his name. So
Yeah. And where's he from?
he's from Ireland, actually.
Yeah.
So he's from back
What
in
sort
the
of
UK.
age is he?
He's, I believe, 40.
Yeah.
But even before that, again, he was working in F&B, so it wasn't even real estate related. But he has a gift of the gab, and again, faked it till he made it. And it's worked out for him. So
And now he's got all these luxuries.
100%, and it's all from his own hard work. Now he can lay back a little bit, but now he's back in the office. He's doing all the legwork again to build that pipeline back up. But he has absolutely smashed it. So.
Because the thing is, if you do build up a big pipeline, you're dealing with a lot of clients. Yeah. Clients know clients, and you'll get recommended.
Exactly.
So you do get a leverage effect from that hard work in the first 6, 12, 18 months, I think.
Well, this is it. I think for a good 6 months, he didn't even have to pick up a phone, which a lot of agents, you do have to do. It's the main bread and butter of the job. He didn't have to pick up the phone, and he had deals going through bigger than the company record. So
wow,
it's insane.
Yeah. And you recruited him?
I did. He was my first hire.
Really?
My first hire. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm so happy for him as well. So.
Yeah, brilliant. You mentioned to me earlier about one of the myths that you think exists in Dubai real estate.
Yeah.
Can you talk about that?
So it's the fact that people tend to think you have to start in leasing when going into real estate. With us, it's not the case. So don't get me wrong, it does help to build up your knowledge, your clientele, but why limit yourself? Why stick in leasing for 6 months and earn okay money? It's not life-changing. Where while you're doing leasing, you have the freedom to connect, or okay, you don't want to rent, I've got something you can buy. So from day one, our agents can do leasing, sales in secondary and off plan. Just because everyone learns at different speeds. Yes, you might come in and leasing may be better suited to you, which we would advise. But a lot of the time, the people we bring on, they should just hit the ground running and go straight into sales and earn the big bucks. So.
That's interesting, because a lot of agencies do say, you have to work in this area or that area. What about areas? Do you specify you've got to work in Business Bay or Arabian Ranches?
So we give them the freedom. Don't get me wrong, we will advise you which we think is suited to you. But say, for example, your focus area is Business Bay and your client wants to sell on the Palm, you can list it, you can deal with it. You have the teams and experts around you to support you. But this is one of the main reasons why Sharif started the business, because he noticed a lot of companies are limited and you're losing money by giving away listings to other people on the team. And yes, they're probably a great agent, but they might not give that same service that you provide. So it seems like a waste, because I might reply instantly, whereas my colleague takes 2 to 3 days. And in that time, that client can go elsewhere to another agent. So you can do anything and we give you the full freedom.
Yeah, I was speaking to an agent the other day and he works for a different real estate company, and he does get a referral fee by passing on. But as you just rightly said then, does that other agent have the incentive to work with his client quite the same as he would?
Exactly.
And he was completely restricted from, covering that other area.
And it's not even that. That's your client, because you've obviously given them a good service previously. They trust you. You know what they want. So when you pass it over to someone else, they've got to kind of go from the ground up and understand their needs and what they like. Whereas it's just better to have the freedom to cover whatever you want to do while still having that focus area, which you're an expert on, but just having that freedom. I think it's a bit of a nicer way of going about things. So.
Yeah, we're agreed on that. Well, it's been fantastic having you back on the podcast. I'm delighted with the success you've had.
Thank you.
Maybe come back in a year. We'll get a bigger update, and looking forward to that.
Have to see what's changed by then. But yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks very much, Sarah. I've enjoyed that.